Good evening, everyone. Mark and Monica here from Minison Mindset, or Monica.
Yeah. Good evening. How are you all? And trust you've all had a great Saturday.
We wanted to share a quick little mindset hack that is something that we talk about with every single one that we work with. It's kind of the foundation and the basics of shifting your mindset and just having a better experience of life in general.
Yeah.
And we were just discussing this before. That's probably one, not probably, it is one of the things that changed my mindset the most in the beginning.
Yeah.
Such a simple thing.
So have you ever been in a situation where you've gone into a supermarket or anything, and the person that's serving you, you've come out and said that person was rude or they were arrogant?
Or she's such a bitch. You're at work, for example, and you have people that you're liaising with, and every time you talk to this person, you tell your colleagues like, I hate her or him, she's such a bitch, or he's such a dick.
Yeah.
And he always makes my life difficult and so forth.
Yeah. And what's happening there in that scenario and how that works is you're actually making it about yourself. Hey Bruce, how you going, mate? Hey Linnea.
Hey, Linnea.
And you're actually making it about yourself at that time.
You're taking it on board, you're taking it personal, you're taking all of their shit on. And you're carrying that and you're allowing that. And yes, it might trigger some stuff, but we choose to look at it that way. You're allowing that person to impact your day in a negative way.
Correct. And the thing is, though, you haven't actually had any consideration for what that person may be experiencing or has experienced prior to engaging with you. So that person, and I'm going to use a retail store for example, that person may have had a terrible experience maybe at home or maybe had some bad news and they're struggling and they actually probably don't mean to come across rude, and it's whether we can have some compassion and empathy for those people. Or if someone cuts you off on the road and you say, that person's just fucked up my day because they cut you off. Really?
Yeah, well, it may not necessarily, and we're not saying that that's okay.
No, I'm not saying it's okay.
To be behaving in certain ways, but to be honest, that's going to be so many situations in life in general, as we all know, where that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And that can really, we can allow that to fuck up a whole day or a whole week. Because it's one thing happens in the morning, you might be running a bit late and the person ahead of you cuts you off or is a bit slow.
Yeah.
And if you left a little bit earlier, then that's not going to affect you as much.
Correct.
So that might start off your day. And then you meet someone at work that is affecting you. So if someone's saying something, they might have a bad day and they're snapping at you, or and then they go, oh, what's up with her? What have I done? Is very common. Like I used to think like that person doesn't like me. What have they got, what's they got in for me? Why don't they like me? Why don't people like me?
Because quite often you hear people say, that person was rude to me,
And what does rude mean? It's different to everyone.
That's correct.
And what Mark was saying is just taking ownership and changing it to have compassion. That's the biggest thing that I've learned. Have compassion for what potentially that person has experienced. I always think like that now. If someone's acting like that and kind of lashes out at me or behaves in a way that's not necessarily appropriate.
Yeah, what may be going on for that person? Yeah,
what have they experienced in life in order for them to behave in this way?
Correct. They may have had some experiences of their own, or they may have just left a sick child at hospital and they've had to go to work because they need to earn money. So there's so many...
You never know what's going on.
You never know what's going on for the other person. So it's such a huge thing. Just have compassion, empathy for people. Not make it about yourself, and choose to have the day that you want to. Because at the end of it, it's a choice, isn't it?
It is, and you can even turn it around even more to actually help the other person.
Yeah.
Because they are so used to, because that's where they are stuck and that's how they are acting, they are so used to people behaving a certain way back, so they're expecting it. Here comes another one, here comes another one. And when you come along and you don't take it on board, and you might even still smile to them, hey Amanda, thanks for jumping on. That could change their day. So you may even make them smile.
Correct.
And you make someone's day, and walking away from a situation, having a positive impact on someone who had a really shit day.
And you know a great example, one that I do quite often now, is how often you get a telemarketer ring you. And when you actually say to them, "G'day, John," or whoever, "how are you?" They say, "Oh, thanks for asking," because they're so used to people being so abrupt to them and saying, "No, mate, not interested," and hanging up. But when you actually say to them, "Oh, yeah, I'm good, thanks, John. How are you?"
And doesn't mean that you have to buy whatever they're selling, but you can at least be courteous on the phone and go, "Hey, yeah, how are you?"
So it's the same as the example you were saying. You can actually just flip it and turn it the other way and actually be kind back to them.
Just practice doing this in every situation. I think that was a great example that Mark just shared, that is just one situation where you're just practicing instead of doing your usual just hanging up or whatever, answering back, going, "How are you?" And then you go to the shop and someone is a bit short with you, you smile at them. And then someone cuts you off in traffic, or someone is really slow in front of you when you are in a hurry to work. You go, "Okay, that really sucks, but could I have left a little bit earlier?" And just always having the awareness of, how could I have made this different?
Correct. And is it really worth having someone else upset my day because they cut me off? And again, it comes back to the choice and what we want to make and the thinking we want to have around that.
And it takes practice.
Oh, yeah.
100%. Like, this takes a lot of practice. But when you start thinking like this and pulling you up when you're going back to the old way, because that's obviously going to happen. You don't get it like this.
No, it takes time.
You practice and practice and practice. How could I look at this differently? How could I choose to see this person? What has this person experienced in order to behave like they do?
Correct.
Have compassion and empathy. You will have such a different experience of your daily life.
Exactly right. Or for instance, if your partner comes home from work, or if they've been out and they may just not be themselves, and instead of responding with "what's up your ass, what's the matter with you," it might be, "Hey, how's your day?" Because it's not you. It's actually something they've experienced. They've just had maybe a bad day. Because
they're coming from outside in, so it's usually not something you've done. It's what they've experienced. So we trust that's valuable, and hopefully you can try it on at least.
Try it on.
Remember every time things like that happen, that how can I respond to this differently? How can I show compassion in this moment?
Think of others instead of ourselves for a while. Thank you so much to everyone jumping on, and I love that, Amanda. Everybody love everybody. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Thank you all for jumping on Saturday night, and we'll talk to you very soon.
Enjoy, guys.
See ya.
See ya.